I'm not saying that you're old. You are looking
I'm
fantastic
old.
again.
It's okay, Pratik. I'm very old. It's okay. You can say it. I don't mind it.
I'm fed up of listening good things about logistics.
In our industry, most sales guys are not sales. Never ever. Not once have I felt that, oh, this guy is damn good. I would love to have that job.
Hi Vivek. So Vivek, for the first, I would like to know that who is Vivek in just 4 or 5 lines for our viewers.
Four or five lines never does justice when you try and introduce yourself, but I will try. So I'm based out of Chicago. I've been living here for the last 10 years, and totally 25 years in the logistics business, having lived in three different countries, Dubai first, of which and then Hong Kong for 12 years, and then Chicago for the last 11 years. I'm originally from India, born and brought up in Mumbai, and of course that's home for me. Always will be. And Chicago is my soul city. Last but not least, love traveling. Been to like 75 countries at last count. Yeah, been all over the planet. And my 2 minutes of fame was I actually ran a 100-kilometer race in 16 hours. Yeah.
Oh my God, so many things you have done. So okay, so Vivek, let's start with one interesting fact which we were talking about, right? What do you mean by sales for logistics, right? What it is, why you are focusing on this part?
So you cannot plug and play sales ideas, techniques into logistics.
Mhm.
The one big takeaway after setting that premise up is that our business has a lot of nuances,
Mhm.
like hundreds and hundreds and thousands of nuances. There is no coach, no mentor, no book, no one really who can teach you all this. It's all about, keeping an open mind and having an experience. So whenever I would see, I work for a logistics company for, my whole life, really. And whenever you are on the receiving side of somebody trying to train you, mentor you, coach you, coming from outside the industry just not would not resonate with me. So I was like, this is a great niche, and nobody else is doing it. I don't think so. From outside, I've run teams from 7 people to about 110 people. Actually, my last PNL was 287 people. So that kind of experience, to put that into one tiny package is not possible. So over a period of time, I was like, kind of develop that the messaging in our industry is either too technical supply chain or a really bland sales from outside where somebody read a book or somebody who doesn't understand logistics or this thing. So if you're not in the industry, you will not understand what I'm saying. If you're from the industry, you will get it in 1 second. That if you're not from freight forwarding or dray or LTL or FTL, you wouldn't understand.
Yeah, so Vivek, most of the part in logistics, people are belonging to the operation, like workflow. Even though people who are in sales, they also do lots of operational work, right? They are coordinating with the traffic people, they are coordinating with the freight forwarder, they are talking to clients that where the parcel is, what's happening. They are typing mails, right? So why you focus on this part, right? And what is the outcome which is coming just because you are focusing and looking things from different angle?
So Pratik, you in your question you've answered something which is the elephant in the room. In our industry, most sales guys are not sales. Their active sales time is very very limited, and a lot of companies do not quite understand the value of salespeople just selling. They want them to do exactly what you said: type emails, do admin work, do customer follow up, make quotations, blah 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 blah. At the end of the day, if instead of you hiring another 5 salespeople, if you just optimized your sales team to do what they were hired to do, automatically you're going to get a lot more business. So very good question. Actually, the answer is in that question.
Right. Now, here the follow-up question, right? How and you can optimize these sales people, and also you also share lots of about getting the revenue increase or maybe saving costs just by optimizing the setup which is there, the sales setup is there. So how and you can optimize that sales setup?
So kind of connected to the first answer, if you have a team, even if it's 3 people or 5 people or 10 people, you have to actively look into how much time they're spending in front of the customer. You don't have to complicate it. You don't have to over engineer this. You don't have to put 100 KPIs. All you need to do is find out how much time they're spending in front of the customer. Every hour that they are not spending in front of the customer during the week, you take that away from them and outsource it, whether to a customer service person, account person, whoever in your organization or outside your organization. You don't have to hire people to outsource certain things your salespeople are doing. So once you
Mm.
do that, automatically the sales guys' numbers are going to improve. That's optimization.
So, if I put it like this, that all those salespeople who are there in logistic industry, they are not exactly the salespeople. They are the people, ops come sales, right? And you are trying to show all these companies that your salespeople need to do sales instead of doing operation. This is what you are doing. This is what you are trying to do.
In a sense, you could say that. Of course, there are thousands and thousands of companies. There are thousands and there are small size, mid size, large size companies. Some kind of bleed is possible.
Hmm.
Like we began this conversation, our business is so nuanced.
Hmm.
So, for me to say to you, Pratik, that just doing one thing is going to solve your sales problem is misleading. There is no such thing. You have to slowly and steadily make tiny gains and realize in totality that if you get smart about your sales team, your go to market over a period of 3 to 6 months or 9 months or 12 months, it will pay out a lot more dividend than just adding more people in your organization. I'm not saying don't hire new salespeople. For sure, always be looking for good sales talent. However, right now people are sitting on a lot of cash over the last 2 years of gains. It was the best times in our industry. So many people are hiring salespeople thinking that hiring salespeople, we are going to increase our business. I hire 2 people and my business will increase 20%. I double my sales team, my sales will double after 1 year. It's a 1 year. It's absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Wrong way of
Hmm.
thinking.
So, number of people will not describe your number of sales, right?
Absolutely not. There's no direct connection. You surely need bench strength. You need the coverage. You need this thing. But it's not as simple as that. Let's hire 5 people and my sales will be 5x, for example, or whatever the factorization that you want to put over there. That's not the way to think about sales. That's a wrong misnomer. Somebody who is not from sales thinks like that. People from sales know better, should know better.
Hmm. So all those logistician, who are doing the logistics, who are, making sure that they are bringing change in entire this globe, right? What one thing they are doing wrong in terms of selling their solution or selling their services?
That's a very big question, actually, Pratik.
Hmm.
Maybe let's set the premise up, right? For before the pandemic started, but around the pandemic, a ridiculous amount of money was chasing logistics tech company. In the name of tech, there are companies who are doing simple stuff with some of the top 50, top 100, even the mid-sized guys have been doing for years. Okay.
Hmm.
It's just digital freight, so to call it.
Hmm.
The reality is on the ground is that unless somebody is specifically solving a problem, uh, they are not really doing much in terms of how much traction they will get. And this is where I feel there is a bit of gap. There are quite a few founders in logistics tech who do not come from logistics, and that's okay actually. That's absolutely fine. That's good. Disruption is very, very good. However, you can't go far away from your customer. Your customer dictates exactly how your company will perform. You don't, as a founder, dictate how your company is going to perform. Your P&L is the storyline, is the only story. So if
Hmm.
you are not clear on how your road to profitability is going to be, how your P&L is going to look in the next 12 months or 24 months, I am sorry to say, but there is going to be an end game here for sure, which you are starting to see now in the industry.
Hmm. So, Vivek, one thing which is striking again and again when you are describing all these things, all this deep stuff, so most of the people in industry, they think that tech is important. Definitely, you mentioned that who is leading your company, is it client or it's your something else, right? So there are people in our industry, there are people who are working from last 40, 50, 60 years, right? And they don't wanted to change themselves, right? They don't wanted to use new tech, they don't wanted to change the way they are working. They're still happy with the excels and all those old day stuff, right? So how we make sure that you are approaching them and you are making sure they are accepting the new change? How any young startup, or maybe any young person who is not from industry can make sure that they are accepting their way of doing working, which is more efficient?
This is going on for quite some time.
Hmm.
How tech has evolved in the last 5 7 years is more like an acceleration that you see because of a lot of buzzwords. But reality is that technology was playing a role 20 years ago also. And there were people who were still using fax machine, and you may not even know, like telex machines, for example. So there has always been a certain segment of people who will stick to their ways, who will not change, who want to do manual processes, who do not want to automate. It is not easy to make the change. Things work, and that's probably the premise you have to work from.
Hmm.
The job is getting done without your tech. You can't be forceful to a customer who's sorry, I make this an age thing, but that's not my meaning. I have 60-year-olds who are younger than 20-year-olds, so I don't make it about age. But somebody who is refusing to change actually is facing from our industry, or many people in our industry, a very forceful thing, a very forceful message, that their head is in the sand. You got to
Hmm.
come off that mountaintop that you're sitting on and come to that person's level and not be in this ivory tower and understand where they're coming from. The fact is, the reality is, the job is getting done. The moment that sits in your stomach and you build a relationship with whatever level of person, at some point they will make a change because they're not stupid. They're
Hmm.
40 years in the industry. I never met, 25 years in the industry, thousands and thousands and thousands of people. And I never met somebody who in logistics who was not a problem solver. That's the nature of the industry. You don't need a degree in our industry to become damn good in logistics. I have a degree in psychology, for God's sake. I'd never seen a container in my life till my first job, man. Never. And
Hmm.
here I am. So I'm not anything great or anything, but uh, everybody in logistics is inherently a problem solver. So this whole notion that somebody's head is in the sand, they're old, they're not changing, that's all ego from the other side. Get to their level, the job's getting done.
Sure, that's you are the first guy who is saying this upfront and bluntly, and that's really impressive. I really wanted to know what is sales therapy. Just
Mhm.
for our viewers, it's not a medical term, right? So,
We need medical help. Salespeople need medical help.
yeah. So what it is, what you are doing in this?
So I have three pillars. I basically, first major pillar, which is 75% of my business, is all about companies who are in their starting stage or in whatever stage they are in, and have these notions about sales, where they want to build a sales program, or they actually want to hire their first salesperson, or they have 10 salespeople and they want to get better at what they're doing. Market conditions have been very tough for the last 6 7 months, so this is where I come in. I have a couple of different programs to help them get better numbers. At the end of the day, we are all about numbers. Help them with mentorship program, or help them put the right structure.
Hmm.
So if you're a logistics tech startup, for example, I have a customer who are a complete startup. We are building a sales program for them completely from scratch. And then I have customers who have a existing sales team, and I'm helping them get to the next level. So it's a little bit all over the place. And then I have a digital course online for people who are relatively new to the industry, 3 to 4 years, 5 years. Things that you don't learn from our book, very nuanced, specifically for our industry, on how to think like our industry. It's all your mind. It's all about your mindset. Let me ask you a question, Pratik. In your opinion, from your point of view, what is the only thing a salesperson has? What is the
Or
only thing that person owns? What a salesperson owns?
maybe attitude of solving problems, or maybe it's
Think
a
about your first question, the time.
that. Oh, okay, yeah.
The salesperson has only one thing in their hands.
Oh, that's nice way of looking at things. Yeah.
So if you don't control your calendar, if you are a
Hmm.
slave to your calendar and the calendar is controlling you, exactly to your point, you're sending emails, you're sending operational stuff, you're doing bills of lading check and blah and blah and blah. You're not selling. And if you
Hmm.
don't understand your time, if you do not get efficient with time, you'll never be good at sales. So this
Hmm.
is where it comes from. Sorry, back to close the sales therapy bit out. This is where the course comes in. If you get smart about time, if you really effectively manage your week, don't let your calendar control you. And there are techniques to do that. There is specific way to do that in order for you to get slowly efficient over a period of time. You can't come in tomorrow morning and change everything the way you do. Even if you are 22 years old, brand new to the business, you are not going to come in tomorrow morning and change everything that you do. It's not possible. So slow incremental changes will lead to far more success. And that basic building block is one and one only, and that's time.
Hmm. Oh, that's really impressive. Most of the salespeople really don't manage their time. They have so many things to do, right? They have to do mail follow up. They have to do callings. They have to check with the other teams. They have to manage the operation, and most important, they have to take the coffee break in between, right?
That's part of the time. You
That's part
cannot
of the
ever
time.
tell her that coffee is the most important thing.
That
Sorry, I never met a sales guy ever in the last 25 years who was good in sales and didn't drink coffee. So, not one time.
yes, true, and not only one cup; it's a multiple cup in a day.
Hey, three double espressos is my limit. So, and that's a cut down limit. So,
Yeah. So Vivek, how the question was how this Lostic says change your life and way of living life.
that's a philosophical question, but let's say three big ways, which you from the outside or sometimes even in logistics you don't fully see. First is our business is universal, so if you get really good, you can work in any part of this planet without a problem. Actually, you can work in many countries as long as your communication, your basic communication becomes better and better. You will be able to work anywhere in our industry as long as you're curious. Multiple blocks. So that's one thing which a lot of people don't see. The second thing is the people. I mean, I worked in Hong Kong.
Hmm.
On that 14th floor, Pratik, we had 18 nationalities. 18 is probably on that floor spoke more than 30 languages amongst the 18 people. I mean, United Nations doesn't have 18 nationalities on a single floor at times. So that's logistics for you for mid to large size companies. You have such this amazingly diverse group from people from everywhere, guys, girls, different colors, different ideas, different plans, and it's just the most fantastic thing ever. The third thing is, I strongly believe that our industry impacts the planet a lot more than it's given credit for. We are very underrated as an industry today. We are not sexy, we are extremely dry. But the fact is that consumption drives the world, trade drives the world, and we
Hmm.
play a very significant role in that. And we've
Hmm.
never ever, as an industry, gotten credit for it. So
True.
if a newcomer is there, if you're starting out, or if you don't fully see the scope of work, I encourage everyone to spend 30 minutes with somebody who's just coming in once a month and show them the real what is possible in our industry. It's ridiculous. 25 years, and I feel that I barely know 10% of our industry. There's so much that I don't know. Last mile, for example, not my area of expertise. I know very little about last mile.
Yeah, that's true. Even every day there's something new it's coming up. New of doing procurement, new of doing movement. All those things are happening. Last mile is a really interesting fact. Like there are so many companies who are trying to solve the last mile, and there's so many solution out there, but still it's most like unorganized part of entire lost, right? Uh, so Vivek, so far we have talked only good thing about Logistics, and I'm fed up of listening good things about Logistics. Now, just tell me what affected most, and maybe in your personal life or maybe your mental health. What haunted you while working in Logistics? What was bad?
That's actually a very, very, very good question, Pratik. If everything was rosy, it's not real. If
Right.
everything goes well, it's not real. The innate, by innate, I mean hidden stress level in our industry is extremely high. There is never, ever an easy day. There is no such thing. If you want an easy day, do not come into this industry. That's what, on the flip side, makes it interesting, because every day is challenging. However, there is no monotony, there is no this thing. Those are the upsides of not having an easy day. But your DNA as a person needs to be ready with it. You need to, for sure, in this day and age where, 10 years ago, if you told me you need to be taking care of your mental health, I would just laugh it off. That's why we go out drinking, that's why we do this, that. It's absolute nonsense, wrong way of thinking on my side. And many in the industry think like that, and it's starting to change. People do realize that, there are 4 or 5 generations working on the same floor in the same company. I'm sorry, but we have a great saying in India: all 5 fingers are different size, and there's a reason for it. And that's so true about our industry. That just because it was a very hard industry, every very high stress, crazy madness every day, and that was okay 5, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. It's not okay right now.
Mm.
We've come across extremely toxic people in our industry, and at one point it was okay, but it's not okay. It's absolutely not okay. And companies that tolerate toxic leaders, toxic managers, 100% need to be aware that, you got to give credit to everybody who's coming in an industry who just doesn't want to take the stress that we as an industry have. That's the elephant in the room. We
Mm.
just ignore the stress. We undermine it. We never ever really openly speak about the stress in our industry. A lot of other industries do not have this kind of stress what we have. That's the downside of logistics.
True, and it's so normal in logistics that using slang, using curse word, it's so normal. Even women's are there, other genders are there, but we don't bother. It's just like this is logistics, right? This is how you have to work, or talk with drivers. This is how you have to deal with the fleet owners, and that's okay in our industry, and that's the saddest part, right? One more thing I'll definitely like to, like I like to share that when I started my career, I was in a logistic company. I used to carry 2 phones, right? And in every 10 to 15 minutes, that one phone start ringing, and where's the truck? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Right? The day I leave that phone in my home, I feel like something is missing. So your brain get addicted to those calls to
Absolutely.
just because you feel like you're working, you feel like you're busy, you are productive, but it's not, right? You are just your brain is getting immune from all those stress. When you're not getting that stress, you're not feeling that dopamine, and that's what's happened, and that's why it's become more toxic and more dangerous to work like this, right? Did you get chance to stay with your family most of the time while working in this industry?
It's a good question, and this is where I talk about it a little bit. Where the family life tends to take a second role, in the sense that, just depending on the position, a lot of people, especially the more senior you get, you end up traveling a fair bit. Uh, Before the pandemic, traveling was very, very big. And after the pandemic, the good that has come out of travel is that you don't have to necessarily travel for your business. It's still a people's business. You still must be in front of colleagues and customers, for sure. But the pandemic has taught us that you can do a lot less of that travel and still be as effective. Um, and no, very few people do talk about the pandemic in a positive way, but there is some positive come out of it. I think you value your family a lot more than what you've done before. In the sense, there's every one of us on this planet, in the first time in history, actually. It's the first
Hmm.
time in history that
Right.
a singular event has impacted each and every person on this planet. In the history of mankind, there's never been, after maybe 65 million years ago, there's never been a single event which has impacted each and every person on it, including the world wars and whatever. There were many countries who were not impacted at all, for example. So this is the first time in the history of mankind where one event has actually impacted people, and I think people have come away with it this, and some lessons will be forgotten. We're human; it's just normal. So definitely, you have to be mindful that logistics is very stressful. It's always on. It's 24/7. There is no end to it. The problems never end. You can solve 20 today, and there will be another 27 tomorrow waiting for you, and it just never ever ends. Like you said, it's worse than cocaine. It's a drug. Uh,
Right.
and you're so addicted to your phone and solving problems. And you have to recognize it's great that you pointed out, Pratik, that it's it's actually a drug.
It is. It is. Okay. So let's talk about. I just figured out that you have a calendar link in your profile, your LinkedIn profile, right? So anyone can talk to you. Anyone can book a calendar and they can talk to you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I encourage discussions for sure. And there are two types of discussion where you have a professional help that you need, where you have a list of questions and you want me to, you know, be sometimes, people want to just hear the truth, and they need a second person to tell them the truth. So there's a professional discussion on a one off basis that I offer. And second, if somebody needs a little bit of help with their resume or a job or whatever, I'm always available to point out and help out people. Don't have to be always that you have to engage with me professionally or has to be a paid consultation.
Yeah, so Vivek, I'm really curious to know, right? Because I joined this industry 8 years ago, and now there are lots of people who are coming to me. They really don't want to get into logistics; they wanted to get into tech sales or something like this, right? So, what's the scenario there? Are they really people? People are really interested in joining logistic company?
So they are not actually, and I think we as an industry are not doing enough to attract people. I'm seeing a high interest in logistics. Many people who are studying supply chain management, it used to be in the domain of Germany only, where some of the best schools in logistics were in Germany. That's starting to change. In India, you see the change. In the US, you see a pretty significant change. I mean, in my region, in Chicago area, Michigan, etc., are some of the best universities in the country for supply chain. Problem with that is that most of the people who are coming out of supply chain are not joining logistics companies. They're joining the opposite side. They're joining manufacturers. They're joining all kinds of customers, traders, whatever, on the other side of the table. So this is where I feel that we as an industry can do a lot more, because we are a lot of fun. I mean, I've had a terrific career, and of course I'm biased. This is the only business I really understand. However, it's a ton of fun. It's just a lot of fun. The most incredible memories are created in logistics companies. It's just, I have not seen a manufacturer in my last 24 years where I would trade a job with them. Yeah, never ever. Not once have I felt that, oh, this guy is damn good, I would love to have that job. It's boring, super boring. I'd rather be on this side of the table.
Yeah, and while working in this logistic industry, you are not just understanding one manufacturing process, but you are understanding lots of manufacturing process. So whenever I talk to any people, and I believe it's with everyone who is working in logistic company, so they know that what exactly happening and what's going on, and because they have met with so many manufacturer, and this is not there when you are sitting other side of table, and that's true. And this is what I was expecting. I was expecting that lots of people are not joining logistic industry, and this is what you said. That's important.
You're, you're
How
absolutely spot on. You're
Yeah.
absolutely spot on.
The final question, and I love the way you are answering, and thank you for being so cooperative. I just wanted to know that what the one thing any young people like us, people who really. I'm not saying that you are old. You are looking
I'm
fantastic
old.
again.
It's okay, Pratik. I'm very old. It's okay. You can say it. I don't mind it.
Okay, so young people can do for lifelong, which keep them happy in logistics and keep them interesting doing this work.
One ingredient only: curiosity. If you're curious, you'll spend the rest of your career always in growth mode. You'll never
Mm.
ever have a problem where you don't grow. It's the
Mm.
only
It's
if
true.
you feel even after 2 decades of work that, oh, I don't know this, let me find out, let me understand this. There's nothing to stop you in our industry. Nothing at all. You will continue to. I have a saying: just focus 100% on skill set, and then title designation money will follow. Title designation money is very, very important. But if you don't focus on skill set, those three don't happen. Everybody is like, oh, I want the title, I want the money. Yeah, sure. But they don't want to spend the time on the skill set. And skill set comes out of, in our industry, comes out of curiosity. There's no book, no mentor, no coach, no single blog, no single influencer that can teach your industry. There is no course, supply chain course out there, even at the master's degree level, that will explain or you will get an understanding of the logistics industry. It's not possible.
Only curiosity will teach you what's exactly you want. That's really deep. That's really deep. Okay, so Vivek, if anyone wanted to connect with you, one way is connecting you on LinkedIn, right, and booking a calendar. How anyone else can connect you? Do you have any website or anything you wanted to share?
Sure. Thanks for that. I'm available. My website is pretty detailed. It's salestherapy.us. But like you said, LinkedIn is my mainstay. You can contact me on LinkedIn. I'm always available on LinkedIn. That's my primary method of, uh, building relationships with different people in our industry. So thanks, Pratik. This was actually really fantastic. I love speaking with you. You have some terrific questions, and it's very, very smart, very, very good discussion. I appreciate you reaching out to me.
Thanks, Vivek, for joining us, and you're looking forward to have you again after certain time.
Sure thing. I'll be happy to do that.